How can a mere mortal beat the Man of Steel? Lex Luthor's been trying to figure that one out for over 80 years, and now with the release of James Gunn's Superman, he might finally have found the answer. The first teaser trailer for Superman opens with Superman himself crashing into the snow, all battered and bloodied.
Crypto. Home.
This is a pretty intense introduction for DC's latest version of the Man of Steel, as Superman is normally impervious to physical attack. The few times we've seen him actually bleed have been major moments in his history, such as his final showdown against Doomsday in the Death of Superman arc. Clearly, it takes something truly powerful to break Superman's skin, so the fact he's so worse for wear in that first trailer is kind of a big deal. Obviously, it's more or less impossible for Lex Luthor to punch Superman so hard that he bleeds as a result, but he's probably got no shortage of superpowered lackeys and devices that could get the job done. Moving away from the actual plot reasons for this, James Gunn has highlighted a more thematic purpose behind Soup's injuries. Speaking at a press conference for the trailer's release, Gunn explained, "We do have a battered Superman in the beginning. That is our country. I believe in the goodness of human beings, and I believe that most people in this country, despite their ideological beliefs, their politics, are doing their best to get by and be good people. This movie is about that. It's about the basic kindness of human beings, and that it can be seen as uncool and under siege by some of the darker voices. Indeed, one of the things that makes Superman Superman is that even when he's beaten down, he always gets back up. Old Lex Luthor, of course, might well take that as a challenge. Part of Lex Luthor's immense power is the influence he wields over others. He's a wealthy businessman who can usually buy himself out of any tight spots. In the comics, he has even become the president of the United States on a number of occasions. Taking down Lex becomes a lot tougher for Superman when he's entrenched himself in the American government, of course, and there's a good chance we'll see a more political take on the arch-villain in Gunn's Superman. We might even see him running for office. Lois mentions an unnamed president in her interview with Kal-El in one of the trailers, but whether that's Lex or someone else remains to be seen.
Did you consult with the president?
No.
One thing we do know is that President Luthor is an incredibly dangerous foe for Superman. In Justice League Unlimited, Lex is elected to the presidency and holds the world hostage, using his access to America's nuclear codes.
The people, this is all their fault, and they're going to burn for it. Burn!
So yes, Lex as CEO is bad enough, but Lex leading one of Earth's superpowers? That's a whole mountain of trouble, even for the Man of Steel. Lex Luthor might be Superman's most iconic enemy, but he's not really the strongest. After all, Lex is a mortal man with no superpowers to speak of, while Superman is, well, Superman. So, to level the playing field, comic book writers gave him a Warsuit that can easily go toe-to-toe with Soup's. And it appears as though Lex may get a similar suit in the upcoming film. A recently released Superman action figure set includes Superman, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, and Lex Luthor. Instead of a business suit, this Lex is sporting armor, just like the Warsuit he's worn so many times in comics and cartoons. None of the trailers have shown Lex in a Warsuit yet, and it's entirely possible he won't end up wearing one. Toys have spoiled many a plot in the past, but they're not always an accurate depiction of what we're gonna see on screen. It may not make sense for Lex to get his hands dirty in Superman, seeing as a version of the character is in cahoots with Angela Speaker, aka the Engineer. Speaker is an immensely powerful member of the Authority, a lesser-known DC supergroup that's also getting a movie in James Gunn and Peter Safran's new DC cinematic universe. On the other hand, Lex may want to prove that he, personally, can beat Superman, or he might just not be able to resist throwing down with his arch-enemy. In either case, Lex would almost certainly need a Warsuit or some kind of similar tech to help him out.
It's like the old saying, if you want someone killed right, you have to kill him yourself.
Fancy Warsuit or no, Lex Luthor's greatest asset is his supreme intellect. Lex always seems to be 12 steps ahead of everybody else. On many occasions, when it looked like Superman had won the day, it turned out Lex's true plan was only just getting started. There's no greater example of this than Lex's evil plot in All-Star Superman, in which he sabotages a space mission, forcing Superman to fly into outer space to save the crew. The Man of Steel saves the day, of course, but it soon turns out that he's been exposed to a lethal dose of radiation from the sun. Superman doesn't die in the end, but he does come very, very close, and he is forced to leave the Earth for a while as a result. It's a great example of brains beating brawn, proving that Lex is plenty dangerous even when he can't make Superman bleed. And that doesn't mean that this Lex Luthor can't flex a muscle or two. In the past, Superman movies have emphasized Lex's intelligence above all else, and Nicholas Holt's version will clearly be pretty brainy too. But he'll also be buff. Holt has said that he was inspired to put on some extra muscle after reading All-Star Superman. Notably, this story features a scene in which he shows off his muscles to Clark Kent, emphasizing how he actually has to work hard to get them. That's a perfect encapsulation of why Lex sees himself as better than Superman. He believes he's had to work hard for all he's accomplished, while Superman just waltzed onto Earth, got a few superpowers, and used them to make everyone love him. Holt getting Jack to play Lex doesn't mean much when it comes to actually fighting Superman, but it does give us a hint about his psyche.
What you're looking at is the most powerful being on planet Earth.
I will not accept that.
This could be a Lex with an unhealthy obsession, one trying everything he can to prove he's better than Superman at everything, no matter how trivial. Any Superman fan will tell you that the easiest way to bring him down is by using kryptonite. And in most stories, it's not so much a question of whether Lex will get his hands on kryptonite as when he will. One trailer for Superman shows Lex and the Engineer raiding Superman's Fortress of Solitude, so it's possible he stumbles upon some kryptonite there. But there's a far more dangerous way he can turn this stuff against Kal-El. Elsewhere in that same trailer, we see a scene in which Superman is held prisoner. He's brought to a cell that's occupied by Metamorpho, a DC Comics hero with the ability to change the physical attributes of his body into various elements. Notably, Metamorpho's hand is glowing green in this scene, a solid indication that he's wielding kryptonite. If Metamorpho is working on behalf of Lex, either voluntarily or against his will, then Luthor doesn't have to worry about kryptonite pieces getting lost or destroyed. He can just have Metamorpho produce it on command and torture Superman as much as he likes. Diabolical? Sure, but that's Lex for you.
Hey! Quit messing around!
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
Lex Luthor is bad enough on his own, but he'll have plenty of friends to help him out in James Gunn's Superman. For starters, he has the Engineers by his side, a character who, in the comics, has total mastery over machinery, including the nanites housed in her own body. Another character to keep an eye on is Maxwell Lord. Played by Sean Gunn in Superman, Lord is a billionaire who's sometimes known to have psychic abilities. Lord even defeated Superman himself in Wonder Woman Volume 2, issue 219, using his powers to brainwash Superman to do his bidding. This bond was only broken after Wonder Woman herself killed Lord. It's unclear whether Sean Gunn's version of Lord will have similar powers, or if he'll just be another generic rich guy for Lex to bounce off of. Either way though, he's not to be underestimated. Lord also seems to have a hand in controlling the other superheroes in the film, like Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, and Guy Gardner. Trailers have shown them wearing suits that bear the Lord Tech logo, suggesting they're working on Lord's behalf. Clearly, Kal-El has more than just Lex to worry about in Superman. With all of the allies Lex Luthor has at his disposal in James Gunn's Superman, one remains a bit of a mystery. The trailers have shown Superman battling a figure in a black suit with a U emblem on their chest. Once again, a toy has revealed this mysterious villain's true identity, Ultraman. In the comics, Ultraman is an evil version of Superman from a reality where every member of the Justice League has fallen into villainy. This inverted version of the Justice League is known as the Crime Syndicate, and the two teams have clashed many times in the past, including in the animated movie Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. Ultraman tends to have the same strength and powers as Superman, making the two more than a match for one another. This would explain why Ultraman seems able to overpower Superman so easily in the trailer. You can probably assume that Ultraman is working with Lex and, by extension, the Engineer, but it's still worth asking, is this truly the Ultraman that we know from the comics? The multiverse is all the rage right now, but it would be a pretty bold move to start introducing other realities in the first film of the new DCU. It's entirely possible that the character will simply be called Ultraman, even if his origin is slightly more grounded than that of an evil, interdimensional Superman.
Wrap it up.
Basically, the only thing we know for sure is that, whoever this entity is, they're strong enough to faceplant Superman to the pavement. Much of Lex Luthor's genius involves his ability to manipulate public opinion. We see a good example of this in Justice League Unlimited, when Lex runs for president and flat out tells the Question that the entire purpose of his campaign is to smear Superman. And he does a pretty good job of this too. In the episode Clash, Superman winds up fighting Captain Marvel as he believes that Lex is planning something disastrous with the construction of his new Lexor City. In the end, Superman is proven wrong. The new city is leveled, despite the fact that it was supposed to provide low-income housing, making Superman look like an all-around awful guy. It certainly seems that Lex might weaponize public opinion in the upcoming Superman movie. Let's go back to James Gunn's comment about Superman representing the United States as it is today. We live in incredibly divisive times, and so it makes sense that, as well as Lex, the Engineer, Ultraman, Max Lord, and the Justice Gang, Superman will also have to contend with the general public. In the trailers, we see a shot of Superman walking, dejected, as bystanders yell and throw things at him. It doesn't help either that Lex has an easy case to to make to the public. After all, Superman is an alien, and he's not working with the interests of the American government in mind. He can literally do whatever he wants, and no one is around to stop him. Lex could easily stir up a xenophobic atmosphere, convincing the public that they too should be afraid of Superman, even as he tries desperately to save people time and time again.
People were going to die!
It's one thing to have a single man hate you, after all, but turning America against the last son of Krypton, that's the kind of evil scheme that would make us all afraid.